Hi guys, welcome back to the Gingerboy channel. Today we've got another conspiracy video lined up for you. Today it's all about the Titanic and whether or not it sank or not. Because I've got some pretty good facts that's just going to blow your mind. I know I've got a washer machine in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. It's pretty loud, so I'm sorry about that if you could hear it. But yes, let's go on. So the Titanic was owned by a company called the International Mercantile Marine Corporation, or the IMMC for short. And the Titanic had a sister ship called the Olympic, and they were both pretty similar. So the conspiracy is that the Titanic was actually swapped with the Olympic. The Olympic was an older ship, and it was at fault when it hit a military training ship, which costed the company, the International Mercantile Corporation thing. It cost them a lot of money in insurance, obviously, because like their boat crashed into a military ship, and also that's a lot of damage.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
So they lost out on a lot of money, which is not a good thing. The Olympic and the Titanic were very similar. The only difference really was the paint. I think at the time the Olympic got hit, it was like fully silver or something. So the Olympic obviously returned back to the docks wherever this like their base was, with the Titanic. And the owners repaired the Olympic just enough, and they basically swapped the identity of the Olympic to its sister ship, the Titanic. So they basically repaired it, they did a new paint job, and basically disguised it as the Titanic. And they did the same to the real Titanic as well. They kind of did a few little tweaks to make it seem like it was actually the Olympic. So everyone's seeing the Titanic and the Olympic just sitting there, but it's actually the other way around. So obviously the Titanic was like it was like the newest, biggest, or not the biggest, it was actually quite small, but you know, it was like the most famous ship at this time. It was like the new cruise ship. I think it was one of the first ships to carry people from UK to America. So it was a really big thing. It was like a really big thing for businessmen and rich people and stuff like that. So obviously the owners of the Titanic, they used this Olympic, they covered it up as the Titanic and used the Olympic to travel across the sea. So what they did, the owners purposely sank the Titanic in the Atlantic so that they can get the insurance for it. So this is basically all insurance fraud. So obviously depending on their insurance scheme, I haven't looked at it, but I'm pretty sure you can access it online if you want to go look at it. But like in the event of a boat crashing, like I don't know how insurance works, to be honest, but because of the crash, the owners of the Titanic basically got millions of pounds for the damage. I don't know who would have given them the money. I don't know if it was the government or what, because it wasn't really anyone's fault. Well, if anything, it was the captain's fault, so I have no idea. But so yeah, they purposely sank the Titanic so they can get some money. So the money that they actually got from this insurance was huge. Like, it was millions and millions of pounds, and it was actually enough to cover up the money that they had to give to the military for the earlier accident. So obviously, like, let's say they had to give the military like £2 million, which is a lot back then. I mean, it's still a lot now, but then the money that they got from the Titanic crash was like £5 million. So they actually made a profit. And the whole reason they did this is because obviously the Titanic's a newer ship. It was their newest, best ship. And the Olympic was kind of old anyway, as I said, and obviously it was damaged. So they swapped the ships in order just to get more money, because they think like the Olympic was never supposed to be in use again because it was that damaged, and I don't think it would have been. Obviously it can float because obviously it did, but yeah, it wasn't like seaworthy. So they did this just to get a bit more money. So they literally went along with the whole thing, just telling everyone, oh yeah, this is the Titanic, go have a great time. But they knew that these people would die, which is pretty mental. Like, rich people like this just kill off all the peasants down below. But a theory like this really isn't that, it's not that like unbelievable, because things like this have happened before, right? Nothing on this scale, but I mean you've seen in the past, like, business owners, they're like, this isn't working, let's just get the insurance for it. That's what like people like the mafia would do. Like, insurance fraud is massive. Like even everyday people will do insurance frauds. So they'll like take out a new insurance scheme where they'll get a lot more money than before, and then a week later their house just burns down because of like their oven malfunctioned. Like it's just clearly it's insurance. And yeah, just things like this. Like it's really not that unbelievable that a person like this or a company like this would do that, because they're going to lose out on money. So instead of losing out on money, they'll just kill a few people, but get money for it, you know. So the owner of the Titanic and the Olympic at the time, I don't think he was the only owner, but he was like the head of the company or something. His name was J.P. Morgan, and at the time he was a top businessman. Now during like the Victorian times, and like obviously this is after Queen Victoria, but you know, like people like old men just kind of ran everything. It's kind of like a monopoly like that, and he was like one of the people who had like a finger in all the pies. You know what I mean? So he was a big dog, and now we know, like from stuff that we can look back now, we can tell that he was actually really corrupt. Like he was basically like the English mafia. You know what I mean? He was a rancid boy, but he did stuff like this. So doing some insurance fraud and killing off a few people, like he's done it on a smaller scale somewhere else, you know. So I want to put it past him to do something like this. You know, he doesn't care about anyone on the ship. He just wants his wonga. You know, his bread. So this J.P. Morgan lad, he was dealing with America at the time, the American government, because he wanted to make a Federal Reserve Bank in America. Now obviously that's like a government bank. Now there was three top businessmen who opposed this deal, and these three businessmen actually died on the Titanic, which is crazy. So obviously this is kind of separate to the first conspiracy. This is more just showing you how corrupt this JP Morgan guy is, because I honestly think he did like do this whole thing for insurance fraud, and while doing that he kind of like popped off his top rivals. So he's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. So yeah, these three businessmen who were like really against this bank all died on the ship, which is mental. Now JP Morgan actually cancelled his trip on the Titanic last minute because he didn't feel like it. Like, what do you mean? He wasn't sick. He didn't have other plans. He just didn't want to go on the best ship of all time. And he had like the best room in it as well. He just quit. Why would you do that? That's so dodgy. A close friend of J.P. Morgan was Milton Hershey, the creator of the Hershey bar chocolate. Now he also dropped out last minute as well, alongside J.P. Morgan. So both of them, who had like the best rooms in the place, just quit. They didn't want to go out anymore, which is so dumb. It's so dodgy. Now the same three businessmen that I told you guys about earlier on board, they wanted to stop Hershey's chocolate. Now all of these had shares, or you know, they were involved in the chocolate industry, and Hershey was like really growing at this point. I think it's probably still one of America's biggest chocolates. Now they were opposed to this, so obviously this Hershey guy would have wanted them out of the way as well. So maybe, just maybe, the inventor of Hershey's chocolate kind of like worked with JP Morgan, because JP Morgan and Milton Hershey both wanted these three businessmen out of the way. I didn't write down these three businessmen, but I could probably put them in the description. But it's mental. Like they just knocked off these two lads because they were opposed to their own business. And it's crazy how people at this level of business, they have no value for human life. They just don't give a shit. Like they will literally just kill you for no reason, which is pretty mental. So that's the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. This wasn't really like, this conspiracy isn't saying that no boat sank. Like a boat did sink, but it's more like the boat at the bottom of the sea that if you can swim, you'll find. It's actually the Olympic and not the Titanic. The Titanic was just the real Titanic was just covered up. It was just covered up as the Olympic, which is pretty mental. So if you agree with me, or you have any other comments to say, just put it down below. You know, put the good stuff down there, and leave a like or dislike. I don't really care what you put down. So yeah, all of that good stuff. Hopefully you had a good day, and I'll see you in the next video, boys. Ta-ra.